That's right, Ames.
Thanks.
Who's this?
Hey, that's Steve.
No, Amy, the goat.
Well, first of all, can you please roughly talk about the journey of your characters, Eric and Amy, during this season? Ncuti, Eric is now in a relationship and trying to figure out the balance of that, right?
Yeah, he is. And it's been, the balance is going to be tricky because he and Adam are in such different places in terms of their growth as people. And when you put those two people together and in different places, they need to try and find out how to be on a middle ground. And so throughout this series, we see them try to make that connection and try to find their equal footing with each other and give each other enough space to grow and be themselves. But they are in different places. And so, yeah, it's interesting because thus far, Eric has really limited himself, and not limited himself, but I guess kind of gone at Adam's pace in terms of like the relationship. And so now they have to be at the same place because they're in a relationship, but they aren't in the same space. And so we see where that friction comes from, which hopefully is interesting.
Very interesting.
And Amy is actually going through a very rough patch, working on a deep trauma from the second season. And in addition to that, she's still trying to accept her body in some ways, trying to regain her confidence, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that she kind of like season 2 and talking to the girls and all that was kind of the start of her, understanding that what happened was not her fault and really, really, really trying to, but I think she's still at the start of season 3, she still has a way to go with truly, truly believing that. And I think because a lot of it, she's turned a lot of her anger about the situation inward. And actually, there's a part of her that's actually kind of scared of her own body because she thinks that it caused this thing to happen. And she's kind of scared and also doesn't like it and feels uncomfortable and disconnected to her own body. And even though her brain is telling her, it wasn't your fault, her body is still, I think, in kind of shock from what happened. And so I guess the therapy is really the thing that's trying to connect her back together and through talking, I think she really does she really, really listens to Jean and really starts to believe that what happened wasn't her fault. And it won't be until she really understands that she can kind of release the trauma, and trauma is always going to be there, but as in she'll be able to kind of accept it and hopefully, move on in some way. But yeah, I think it's so important that we're still seeing that storyline because of course it's going to be a process for Amy now. She's kind of forever changed by it, which is just the truth, really.
Totally. Speaking of journeys and personal struggles, what do you think was the biggest challenge for your characters during this season? And how would you like their journey to inspire the people?
I'd say for Eric, his biggest journey has been I guess towards self-acceptance. And yeah, this year he goes back to Nigeria, and I think he learns there how to kind of incorporate all elements of his identity into his journey of self-acceptance. And he goes out there, I think, thinking one thing about the country and one thing about how he's going to have to present, and he's going to have to suppress parts of himself and parts of his self-expression. And then what ends up happening there is he ends up feeling the most seen he's ever felt. And the fact that actually I don't have to hide any elements of myself, and I don't want to hide any elements of myself either, because he sees his family having done so for different reasons and to different people. But he sees that there's a cycle in his family of kind of not living fully truthfully. And he decides that that's not for him. anymore. And I think what he learns ultimately is that he needs space to grow, and that he's given a lot of space to other people to grow around him, and he's facilitated that as well. And actually, I guess he's kind of neglected his own needs and wants, and actually he is ready to make space for that. And if other people can't make space for him to grow, then he might need to put those things in the bin or get rid of them. And so, yeah, I think what I would love for people to take away from his journey is that you should take space to grow and that you don't have to people please so much, and the best success is finding happiness within yourself, I think. And if that comes at the detriment of other people, then sometimes that's fine.
And Aimee, they're actually telling me to wrap up, but can you just give a short answer before we go?
Yeah, of course. I think it's for Aimee too, moving away from the people pleasing and actually detaching from that part of her identity, which hasn't served her. It hasn't. She says it hasn't. And actually learning that if she speaks her truth, people will still love her. Like, I think, and I think that's her thing.
Okay, it was such a pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for this interview. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.